The Backrooms. You've been here before. Level 7.7. The Forsaken Debris. The loneliest moment in someone's life is when they are watching their whole world fall apart, and all they can do is stare blankly. Survival difficulty. Class 5E. Environmental. Unsafe, unsecure, non-entity hazards. Description. Level 7.7's main feature is its grand, large rock located at one point of a vast and calm ocean. At the top of the natural formation under an empty sky, there lies a desolate building. The image displayed on screen is the only known picture of the rock and the lighthouse in level 7.7. This building resembles a lighthouse, and no matter where one points their view at, there is no trace of any living forms. The four components of this level, a skyscraping rock, a seemingly out-of-place lighthouse, a nearly infinite mass of water, and the grayish sky above it all, each present abnormal properties that in some cases even bend the frontiers of normal reality. In order to analyze them in detail, the following categorization has been made. Main elements. The rock. This enormous boulder is the most noticeable structure in all of level 7.7. For simplicity, it has been named Geolith. The rock is similar to rocky formations within the front rooms, save for an unusually high thermal conductivity and an immunity to any erosion caused by exposure to the ocean. The air surrounding its surface is constantly moist. Considering this, and the overall inconvenient shape of the geolith, it is highly unrecommended for wanderers to attempt to descend it bare-handed, as the risk of an abrupt fall is almost certain. On a separate note, the geolith's proportions have been obtained by rigorously analyzing recovered imagery. The lighthouse is located 47 meters, 154 feet, above the ocean's surface. However, the rock is not floating, but fixed to the bottom of the level, therefore its total height is estimated to be far greater. Its width is, comparatively, notoriously small. The area a wanderer can walk without falling off is narrow, even if not uniform due to the varying configuration of every spot. The lighthouse. The abandoned building at the top of the geolith is the sole man-made construction in the entirety of level 7.7. Both the interior, the outside walls, and its floor are made of simple, shabby concrete, with the exception of multiple pieces of wood and metal in various spots. The lighthouse's interior is significantly more spacious than its exterior shape would indicate. In other words, it does not strictly follow the laws of physics known in the front rooms. Thus, classifications of its insides has been documented and goes as follows: the ground floor, the upper floor, and the ceiling. The ground floor. The image displayed on screen is an image of one of the initial rooms found upon entering the ground floor. The ground floor is the initial complex of rooms that is accessed by crossing the door that connects to the outside. It presents a variety of worn-out and unhygienic furniture, from old chairs and moldy tables to flower pots containing long-withered plants. Additionally, painting frames whose contents have become indiscernible are present. There are no windows within the ground floor, and the light switches in various walls do not work. The light bulbs inside the lamps barely hanging to the ceiling are all burned out. Despite this, enough light reaches every spot on this floor, as some rays lurk out from the stairs that connect with the upper floor. Even though this illumination should be plenty, wanderers also have the option of opening the door to the outside for another source of light. The upper floor. The image displayed on screen is a picture showing the metal pipes and one of the windows in the upper floor. The upper floor contains several of the elements that are found in the layer below, such as the furniture in a detrimental state. Two differences with the ground floor are the presence of several windows at various points and a greater presence of oxidized metal in this layer than the rest of the lighthouse, to the extent that it consumes most parts of the area. Furthermore, there is a series of oxidized pipes going in and out of some of the walls. These pipes are one of the major threats of level 7.7, given that they are verified to contain a highly toxic gas running through them. Exposure to this substance may cause symptoms such as blurry vision, drastic nausea, internal bleeding, skin infection, among others. All pipes in this layer are completely enclosed. The gas will not leak out unless they are pierced or notoriously damaged. Hence, it is heavily advised for future wanderers to act with thorough caution when navigating through them. In one point of this layer, there lies another group of stairs which leads directly to the lighthouse's ceiling. The ceiling. The image displayed on screen is a portion of the control panels in the lamp zone. The spatial anomaly of the lighthouse does not extend to the ceiling area, given that it is located on the outside itself. Two notable features here are the decaying white color that covers the floors and the lamp zone. The lamp zone is the place where the giant light bulb is situated. This area is surrounded by minimally shattered, ancient looking glass with notoriously low resistance. In addition, various control panels are located here. They present a wide range of buttons, signs, levers, and even an ancient radio signal transmitter. Although no matter how much the explorer experiments with them, no effect will occur since they are severely damaged beyond repair, and the cable system that should be behind them is completely gone. The ocean. Surrounding the geolith and the lighthouse, at its summit, there is an ocean that expands in all directions. The main trait is the permanent calmness noticeable by the lack of major waves. In spite of this, tides, although petite in scale, do exist. The following file from a recovered MP3 device contains the sound from the waves colliding with the rock. This sound does not produce any anomalous effect other than what the buzzing lights in level 0 may cause. The ocean's depth is undetermined as of now, since no survivors from the level have ever attempted diving to the very bottom. What is certain, however, is that its lowest point cannot be witnessed from its surface by looking down, implying that its total depth is profound. As for the water properties in level 7.7, they bear a resemblance to those in the oceans from the front rooms, such as high concentrations of dissolved salts and unpredictable sea currents, which can pose a severe threat, especially in the near surroundings of the geolith. The sky. Level 7.7 sky is entirely empty, completely devoid of clouds, birds, or even celestial bodies. Footnote: this explains the everlasting calmness of the ocean as well. And despite this, level 7.7 is illuminated in its entirety, with the source of said light being unknown. The level is also permanently stuck in a fixed time of the day, i.e., it never enters nighttime. Its sky has an unchanging light gray color, typical of clouded horizons, yet there are no clouds to be found anywhere. A giant mass of air in rapid movement situated on the lower part of the sky has been confirmed as well. This produces several wind currents which may casually descend, even if the maximum force they can apply would only make wanderers lose their balance at most. MP3 file 3/25/2020. Open MP3 file. The place in question was the summit of one colossal rock, glimpsing into The place in question was the summit of one colossal rock, glimpsing into infinity while sitting on its uncomfortable and moist surface. A girl began speaking. It was not a matter of with who, but with what, since there was no one around to talk to. Samantha. Bzzzt. Hello? Hello? Is this working? It's me again. Samantha Chris. I'm recording an MP3 file so that this place doesn't get overlooked if anyone else happens to hear it. After all, it would be a shame if someone other than her ended up in the same situation without any guidance whatsoever, just like she indeed was. Samantha. Alright, let me describe the situation real fast. I was somewhere else, I can't recall where exactly, but I don't know what I did. Just that, in an instant, I was now here, in this desolate place. For any normal person, this phenomenon would be undoubtedly incomprehensible. However, ever since she came to this world, it could be said that she was no longer normal at all, just like anything else here, really. Thus, this didn't impact her as much as it should have. Samantha. In the blink of an eye, everything changed. In this place, all that there is here is just a giant rock and some eerie looking lighthouse. I definitely no clipped again, but the thing is, this rock is incredibly tall. When I look down, all I can see is sea, and a lot of it. Even so, this height is way too much. I'm pretty sure if I jump, I'm not surviving that unless I pull off some of those awesome techniques professional divers used back on Earth. The distance to the water was controversial. It was just at the exact altitude in which death was not ensured, but it was anything but safe to throw oneself into that imposing pit. When presented with such a dilemma, human instincts tend to play it safe. It's not like it's easy as pie to gather the courage required to jump from such an impressive distance. That was why, Samantha, I'm definitely not risking it. But here's the issue. Inside this gloomy building, which, by the way, stinks, there's literally nothing remarkable. Weirdly enough, it's bigger on the inside than what the outside makes it look like, but that's literally it. It's been a whole day since I'm here, there's no way out no matter what I do, and I'm getting nervous. While in front of an inescapable situation, what was she supposed to do? It was only natural that she kept trying not to think too much about the possible future outcomes. However, it is only until a certain point that one can do that. Samantha, now I know what y'all are thinking, but don't worry, there's no need to panic. There are some sort of control panels on the ceiling zone, and I think I found the solution. I'm kind of keen on that sort of thing, so I understand what the tools they offer are for. Let me reach to them. And so she walked. Having to traverse that repulsive lighthouse yet again caused her nauseous feelings, but she had no choice but to endure them and keep going. Samantha. Okay, there's a lot I can try. First, about this radio signal transmitter. Maybe I can. She stopped right there. It is only normal to remember to be cautious whenever possible. If there was one major rule she'd had to learn the hard way, it was that bringing attention to herself could prove disastrous more often than not. No one can guess what is out there anywhere in this world. Okay, here. This was what caught my attention yesterday. Phew. For a moment there, I forgot what I had settled myself to do. Indeed, no one would like to be waiting in such a place without a plan to follow, right? Samantha was no less. Samantha. Here it says pipe link source, which means maybe I can get those pipes to pour some water out. That would be helpful, since I get a wide margin to clear my mind and do some more brainstorming in order to safely escape. Let me. Skillfully using her hands, she played with the lever and button system the panels had to offer. Nonetheless, nothing relevant happened, or that was what the naked eye seemed to indicate. Samantha, there's no way these LED lights are going to work. They must be broken, but that doesn't mean the cable system can't work on its own behind their facade. Kind of like ninja behavior, I'd say. Sorry for the terrible joke, but if this did actually do something, there's only one way to find out. Loneliness makes people act ridiculously sometimes. Nevertheless, the only means to truly see if there were notable results was to go check for herself. Samantha. Alright, uncanny pipe room, here I come. Please let me see that precious water coming out. Wait. It's not like she had properly analyzed each factor to come up with her idea. She was just trying everything she could, but in doing so, she totally missed one small detail. Samantha. Don't tell me there is not a single open pipe from which water could pour out. I mean, in the worst case, I could brute force it and make a hole with some of the furniture below. Yep, all the pipes are closed and attached to every other wall. Geez, this is a bit annoying. An unfair turn of events happened yet again, but there was no point in complaining about it. Samantha. I'll just go check around the floor below to see what I can find. But first, the flow of water produces a sound which can be heard if one pays enough attention. That way, she could know if it was worth it to take the effort to make a hole. So, to make sure, she approached her ear to one of the pipes. It was the next moment. Clank. Samantha, huh? What was that noise just now? It came from above. Psst. Samantha, okay, I don't know what is happening. What's. Ah! A sound was heard through all the lighthouse, and right after, the pipe in front of her began to leaking a strange gas, which hit her right in the face. Samantha. Gas? Crap. While her complaints reached no one, the entire room was rapidly getting impregnated with that green gas, since the unknown substance had also begun leaking from the rest of the pipes. Immediately after getting a grasp of the situation, she forcefully covered her lips and nostrils with the neck of her shirt. Soon enough, her breathing became heavier and heavier, and the coughing didn't show signs to stop. Samantha. Shit, this is bad. I have to get out. The nearest stairs were. She opted for pondering the situation on her mind and avoiding speaking from now on to prevent further inhalation. In the meantime, the stairs that connected to the ceiling had already been completely blocked by an outstanding barrier of gas. No one in their right mind would try to go through there, so her only alternative was Samantha. The lower floor. Jesus Christ, this is unbearable. I gotta. while running around looking for those heavenly stairs to pop out from the depths of the green conglomerate. Her feet were abruptly brought to a stop. What she stumbled upon was a window. Usually, their glass does not reflect what's in front of it, but the gas was so dense that her image could now be clearly seen right before her eyes. It was then that she witnessed that there were two cascades of crimson liquid falling straight from her pupils. Samantha, ah! My eyes! Bam. Samantha, ugh. Pure fright having gone through her spine, her instincts made her jump on sight upon contemplating her sight. While she blindly moved around the now green complex, she slammed right against one of the metal pipes. Samantha. Having entirely lost her balance, she tripped and fell into a hole filled with stairs, while vomit and blood kept leaking out of her fragile body. Samantha fell and fell and fell. Time passed, and eventually the world regained its light through her eyelids. Samantha. Huh? She was lying on the ground in the lower layer of the lighthouse. Her whole body screamed in pain, but she had to bear with it. Above her, a curtain of gas was dangerously engulfing what remained of the building, so she hurriedly covered her face again, even if the mere act of moving her hand was already excruciating. Luckily, it seemed that the fall hadn't been fatal, given that her body still managed to properly respond. And since she was only barely exposed to the gas on that first instance, it looked like the effects were not as severe as they could have potentially been. Truth be told, she was astonished by the toxic intensity of that substance. Such a mere contact, and there she was, struggling like an insignificant ant. She could not help but curse and despise that damned world with every fiber of her being one more time. Samantha, how much time was I unconscious? If I don't get out fast, I'm as good as dead. Deado. I'm so lucky the gas hadn't reached the floor yet. Having just remembered the sight she viewed through the reflection of the window, she instinctively placed her petite fingers through her face. The tips, an instant later, became stained with red. Samantha, huh? This is bad. I'm still bleeding through my face. Where's the damned exit? I can't see anything. The gas prevented her from properly analyzing the terrain she was crawling through. The sound of the pipes on the floor above was still present, which meant she had no time to spare. Samantha, please, where did I come from? Is this a table? If I remember correctly, behind that corner there was. She kept slowly crawling with time as her main opponent. Thanks to her muscle memory, she managed to get a glimpse somewhere in that green hell, a glimpse of the angelic light coming from the door to the outside. Samantha, thank goodness, there it is, just one last effort. Ultimately, she managed to reach her salvation. Never before had she felt so relieved from getting blinded by the exterior light. While her eyes were getting adjusted to the new illumination, she took one deep breath. Samantha, ha ha ha, ha ha, finally, I'm out of that death trap. That was horrible. Now I need to think fast. What do I do? Maybe I should wait until the pipes run out of gas. It was one possibility. However, that was what should normally happen, and she knew very well that this place was not normal. Samantha, what if it just keeps expelling gas forever? That could be disastrous. I don't want to be anywhere near that polluted air for too much. My other choice is, while going through the options she had at hand, she would obviously end up looking back, or better said, down. Samantha, it's way too damn high. No way I can do it. Ugh. The coughing was getting so extreme, she realized that blood was now falling from her mouth as well. She urgently needed to get treatment. But who was actually going to come for her in the middle of nowhere? Time, once more, began urgently ticking away. Samantha. Crap, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Something, anything, I have to come up with. Desperation was getting a hold of herself, to the point where she began internally begging for help. To who exactly, not even she knew. After that, Samantha, this can't be happening. An explosion resonated high and clear, was coming from the ceiling of the building, precisely from the lamp zone. This turn of events was already perplexing enough, but there was something else. An additional crisping sound suddenly emerged from the aftermath of the shockwave, and instants later, flames began overtaking everything in their path. The lighthouse was burning down. Samantha, no. Dread dominated the last strings of self-will left in her, and she fell to her knees upon witnessing the unjust scene that was developing before her eyes. Helpless. The situation was utterly helpless. And so, tears began overflowing, having lost any and all control over her feelings. Samantha. Hey God, are you there? If you can hear me, Then, Samantha, what exactly did I do to deserve being thrown into this cursed world? Of course, nobody was able to respond to her call. Meanwhile, the flames reached the surface of the rock and, to her surprise, began spreading through it as well. No, at this point, that was something she fully expected. Samantha. She knew she was getting cornered. She knew there would soon be no escape. Hence, she accepted it. Samantha. She slowly stood up and turned around, confronting one last time that colossal height. Upon viewing the tenderness of the ocean, her mind became calm, as if she was being grateful for having at least that, in a terrain of complete madness. She had run out of time, and so, while blood and tears perpetually fell from the aching of her wounded heart, she declared, I'm Samantha. I'm sorry, Mom, Dad, for being a horrible daughter. In that exact moment, Samantha Chris jumped to the depths of an unknown abyss. Level Nature. Level 7.7's natural traits are especially arduous to document and assort. In its place, the following audio log contains a conversation between three researchers from the Meg, Sally, Matt, and Carl, in which the level nature is being heavily discussed. Audio log 7/17/2020. Enter audio log. Matt. Good morning, Carl. Sally. How y'all doing? Sally. Hey there, Matt. We're continuing with the documentation. Matt. I'll be honest. I've not been getting my part of the work done in the last days. Documentation of what? Sally. Carl. Come on, Matt. You know, Sally's been having it rough with this one lately. Be a bit more considerate at least. Matt. Ah, crap. It's that sublevel, ain't it? My bad. Sally. No, it's okay. Don't worry. I've been handling it better lately. We can talk about it if you want. Matt. 7.7, right? I've heard that the squad recovered an MP3 file about it a few months ago. I listened to it, but something just didn't feel right. Has more progress been made on it? Carl. Well, we've been trying. We keep conducting experiments to level 7 to investigate once a month or so, but the place just couldn't be found. Sally. That's normal. It's confirmed that only one person can explore 7.7 at a time. And it's the sublevel itself, the one that Lowers Wonder is in. We just can't decide to explore it by our own will, almost as if it decides who goes in every time. Matt. I don't understand why we don't know where it is. Can't we just keep track of the people that get sent in to decipher the precise whereabouts of the sublevel? Carl. Matt, please. This is the second time already. Don't you remember what just happened 3 days ago? Sally. Matt. Oh, shit. That's true, Bob. During the expedition to level 7, right? Sally. It's fine. It all happened so fast. I just took one given glimpse at the sky and... Carl. Matt, you idiot. You're going to make her cry. Stop it already. Matt. Sorry. Please forgive me. Sally. There's no need to prostrate me before like that. Don't worry. Matt. So, Sally. Yeah, I didn't answer. Sorry. We are sure that it's the sublevel within its exact location somewhere in level 7, even if we can't know where exactly. Matt. And why is that? Carl. As we said, only one wanderer can explore level 7.7 at a time. The collected data shows that the entrance phenomenon, which is a long-range no-clip, only occurs when one is exploring it, and it happens unpredictably at that. So tracking the exact position isn't possible, since there are too many troublesome variants for us to work with. Matt. I see. It's kind of similar to the level 0 effect, except in there several wanderers can be in it even if they'll never encounter each other, meaning in level 7.7 there's only one person inside. That's interesting. Sally. Exactly. Matt. There's not much we can do then. Carl. What's more, we know that the level reconstructs itself whenever the new wanderer goes in, or else the geolith's immunity to erosion wouldn't exist. It's real weird. It feels as though level 7.7 wanted to place wanderers in a specific scenario, and it's not a good one precisely. Matt. Damn, man, that's rough. Also, talking about reports, I guess you have listened to that MP3. I informed myself a bit, and it turns out that the control panels in the lamp zone don't have a cable system behind them. How is it possible that they activated those pipes' gas? That is no joke. Sally. Well, it turns out there's something in the layer below, akin to a valve, that is active and for some reason keeps incrementing the air pressure out of the entire building. The control panels do indeed work, which is absurd, by the way, but only do in one occasion. Carl. Yes, the interior pressure of the panels will ultimately reach a point in which they will implode. When that happens, they function for a fraction of a second. Our hypothesis is that the explosive force generates the energy that the cable system would provide in that small frame of time, activating the mechanism among which the gas leak is present. Matt, my goodness, stuff's wild. And since the place reconstructs itself, it's practically unavoidable for it to happen every single time. That valve also explains why the lamp zone exploded some moments later. It's surrounded by fragile glass, so the pressure of the room eventually makes it unable to withstand. I guess the fire from the panel's implosion just spreads out from there. Yikes. Sally, yep. That's why we are planning to discontinue future exploration. Matt, what? You told me the valve was active. That means it's always found by default in the open position. In that case, what happens if a wanderer shuts it off before everything goes nuts? Sally, Matt, and Carl. Matt, you know what? Let's leave it at that for now. Let's go to have breakfast or something. I don't want to force you more, Sally. Sally, sounds good. Entities. Level 7.7 is completely devoid of life. Therefore, no entities can be found. A plausible explanation for the exclusion of any life forms except for humans from its domains is yet to be discovered. Bases, outposts, and communities. The nature of the level makes human settling non-viable. There is a total impossibility for any kind of bases or outposts to be properly settled. And since level 7.7 is entirely devoid of life, no communities can be found either. Discovery. Near the end of 2018, unprecedented anomalies began appearing on the MEG's database regarding Level 7. These included incoherent information and corruption of already pre-established patterns, such as a higher no-clip rate of wanderers traversing it. Upon witnessing said anomalies, the MEG's head staff commanded the research team to initiate further investigation. Ultimately, monthly expeditions to Level 7 began being conducted from May 2019 onwards, which bore close to no results until the 26th of March 2020. Said day, the first known survivor of Level 7.7, Samantha Chris, was spotted desperately swimming towards the ocean of Level 7 and was safely rescued, along with an MP3 device as her only possession. She then received urgent medical treatment as her status was critical. The image displayed on screen shows the pressure valve, whose existence was reported right after the treatment. The subject provided detailed information about the level, and unsuccessful expeditions in seek of the newly named Level 7.7 continued until the 14th of July 2020. This day, in the middle of the expedition, the crew was momentarily blinded, without previous warning, before realizing that a member of the team, Bob Alley, had gone missing, and that a part of his belongings had dropped to the floor on the spot, among which were objects to facilitate mobility such as harnesses and ropes, and varied provisions for sustainability. Since then, no more expeditions to Level 7 have been conducted. The 7th of January, 2022, a team of wanderers unaffiliated with the Meg at the time rescued the second known escapee of Level 7.7, Jeff Norwell, amidst their independent exploration through Level 7. 13 days later, the subject was put under the Meg's protection. Additional data of the level was obtained from the recovered imagery from a camera he was carrying in his pocket, and the content of his formal report. Report 1/22/2022. Access report. Interviewer. Alright, be my guest. Jeff. It begins calmly. You know, this feeling when you think the situation is under control. Well, it's all a lie, a facade behind which lies a fated doom. You first check your surroundings. Nowhere to go, no one to cling to. A miserable rock. Behind you, a lighthouse. Of course, abandoned on the island. You explore it. Nothing of value, just broken and filthy furniture scattered all over. You try whatever you got at hand. Control panels, nothing happens. A hidden valve behind all those labyrinthian pipes? Surely it will have an effect if you rotate it. So you do, and nothing yet again. You leave it there since you render it useless, just like literally everything in that gross place. You decide to go outside and think. Eventually, time passes. Minutes convert to hours, and hours to days. The endless noise of the waves colliding against the rock begins to get unbearable. It's the only sound that you are hearing while in such a forsaken, insane place. You wish you could just kick that stupid tidal sound in its face and get it out of your head. Panic begins to set in. You have neither food nor water. You also don't have a rope or something akin to it to help you descend remotely safely from that deathly height, and the problematic shape of the rock doesn't help. You don't know if somehow getting down to the sea and wandering for days will get you out of this watery, lonesome hell. And worst of all, no one is most likely ever coming for you. It is at this moment when you realize that your biggest enemy is not some kind of monster that is chasing you through the endless hallways, nor a cruelly hazardous environment that threatens your life by just being, say, toxic or whatever. Your worst enemy here is you yourself. You doubt whether you will eventually get impatient and act, but if that happens, what will you actually do? Just jump and pray for the best? What if you get somehow injured during the free fall, or the sea current strike you against the rock's walls upon landing? Actually, is being patient any better at all? You know you are avoiding the issue of potential hunger and thirst, but you also know that you'll face them at some point if you don't move. And then what? Actually, let's just not think about that since you suddenly remembered watching documentaries of people that, as a last resort, chose to eat their own. Stop! Jeff. Yeah, let's just stop thinking. Since you've realized that pondering about it doesn't bring you anywhere at all, let's just sweep it under the rug. Or wait, does it? You don't even know anymore. But this very instant, you are completely sure that you know one thing. If you keep looking away from the future, that same future will become present eventually. So, if you have indeed decided to not think about the path that will take you there, what is it, then, that is making you move towards that future at this very moment? You know, that desperation, dread, or even impatience are not it. It is lunacy. Patiently but assuredly reaching your deepest roots, rendering your petty soul urgently helpless before inexpugnable isolation and forcing an entrance to the most profound pits of despair as the utmost provider of death itself. Entrances and exits. Entrances. While crossing a sailor style door or a door in a marine navigation themed room through the entirety of the backrooms, there is a slim possibility of no clipping to the entrance of the lighthouse in this level. By wandering far enough through the ocean of level 7, there is a slight chance of witnessing a blinding light on the heights above the distant horizon. Once it disappears, one will be situated in front of this level's lighthouse. Footnote. Unless they were accompanied by several people, in which case only one of them will have been abducted. Exits. The only known way of exiting level 7.7 is by continuously swimming through the ocean for several hours in an indeterminate direction, once the giant rock has completely vanished from sight. Footnote. All the known survivors claim to have been able to reach the ocean of level 7 by using this method. The shift in surroundings is not abrupt. Slowly and gradually, the ocean and air properties reverse to those from level 7.